Miami Dolphins mode. Yeah! Miami Dolphins mode. What? Miami Dolphins. Woo! Mode. Yeah! Woo!
What's up, Dolphin fans, and thank you for coming on the Miami Dolphins Mode channel. Today, we're going to talk about the offensive line situation going on with the Miami Dolphins, what got us here, what led us to this place, what we're doing right now, and what we expect for the future. All right, so let's get right into it. All right, so first off, last year our offensive line was 32nd in the league, and basically last according to PFF. But yeah, definitely one of the last in the NFL. And one of the problems here was, the offensive line coaches that we've had, right? Now, last year we had two different coaches that really weren't supposed to be offensive line coaches, but they put them both together to see if they could make one. And I don't think that worked out very well last year, right? Also the Miami Dolphins, they haven't had offensive line coach serve back-to-back seasons since 2014 to the 15 season when John Belton held that position. So that's been a while back. Since we had a offensive line coach, I still say 2 years. Now, the coach that we got now is Applebaum, and he's done good throughout his coaching career. He actually coached in the NFL as an assistant back in the day. Then he went from college to college working on offensive line, and then he got offensive coordinator 1 year as well before he got to Boston College, and he coached over there, coaching some good offensive linemen like Alec Winstrom, Zion Johnson, which should be in this draft here. So he's coached some good players and he coached them up. So let's see if that'll be something that would help, because it's definitely something that we've been missing and we don't talk about. It's definitely underrated. A lot of people say, oh, it's the offensive line. Sometimes they need the proper guidance around them in order to get the full potential that they have within themselves. So I think that this signing with the coach is something that is interesting to me. Everybody's saying good things about him, but usually when people come on, everybody says good things about you, right? And so it's something for me that I want to see. I want to see how that turns out. It looks good from the outside, but let's see how it works out for it. But it's definitely something that we've been missing for a long time, right? Then let's go into our offensive line. We just signed Connor Williams, which I believe is a great pickup for us. It's a good above average pickup for us that can wind up being great, right? Now he's played for 4 seasons. He came out in the second round of the draft. Last year he had about 17 penalties. 3 of them were declined, so he had 14 actually enforced, right? And so he got benched midway through the season because of the penalties, right? Now, but then he got his starting position back, right? So, and he also backs up as a center. But in the first 3 years of his career, I think he only had about 13 penalties, and compared to the last year, so he had more penalties in 1 year than he had in the 3 previous years. That could be somewhat of like an off year, right? And it's definitely something that's coachable. Okay. Now, even with the penalties that he had last year in PFF, he was ranked top 10 in guards, right? So, considering the guard play that we had last year compared to what he is, if you were to tell if we were to be told last year, right, past the midway point of the season, hey, could he take out Connor? Do you want Connor Williams? Everybody would have wanted him big time. Hey, just let's get him over. So what happened is right now with the signing of Connor Williams, our offensive line improved instantly. It improved. Okay, so I like it. If we coach him up on the penalties, that doesn't happen. Like if he does it the way he did it the first 3 years, that won't be a problem. You won't even think about that anymore, right? That's a good add-on. Now I also believe myself when I was before the offseason started, before the free agency, that they needed to get two offensive linemen. That was my mindset, and it would be like a tackle. Like so, you got they're in rumors with Lionel Collins and Terod Armstead, right? Which those two, they're great, but they're high, man. They're about 15, 20 mil a year to have those guys, and it's a big cap hit. If they can make it happen, then great. I would want them, all day long. They'll immediately improve our offense and get us to the midway point of, offensive line rank just with those two guys, I believe, right? But there's another guy that I'm looking at, and I'm looking at Dwayne Brown. Now, the first thing that you can say, hey, Dwayne Brown, he's 36, right? Yeah, he is 36, but he's still blocking good, right? He's still doing his job. You could get him on something minimal like 2 years, even 1 year, probably like about 8 million a year, right? Won't be such a big hit, but it'll be a veteran tackle right on the line that'll help the younger guys that we have, right? Coach them up, It'll be solid for Tua, right? First 2 years. Remember, also next year we have two first round picks, right? And we also have young guys, right? We still got Austin Jackson. We still got Liam Eckenberg. We still got Michael Dieter. Robert Hunt should be in that guard position. We still got Kenley in the background. We invested a lot of cap capital into the offensive line. So maybe with the new coach, I'm just saying maybe there's a possibility. Maybe with the new coach bringing in Connor Williams and bringing in a veteran like Dwayne Brown, right? That doesn't hit you. I mean, if you get Teron Armstead or if you get Lionel Collins as well, hey, go ahead. Same thing. I'm just saying Dwayne Brown might give you a little bit less of a cap hit. You only have to do for a couple of years. He'll train him up, and you still have draft capital to draft if you want. Now, also another thing that could happen here is that Matt Applebaum, what he could do is he could go ahead and coach these. Maybe he sees something, right? Like, hey, these guys weren't put in the best position that they should have been, last year, and I could do things to make them play better. Maybe, I mean, there's something that he sees, right, or the coaches sees because they're there, right? So there's a lot of variables that we don't know about when it comes to this. So maybe because they are young, they're all 2 years, 1 year, 3 years only in the league. So maybe you could coach them up. That would be the best case scenario, and that would make Matt Applebaum like a hell of a coach if he could do that, right? But it could be a possibility because you have some people that you put in that you invested some draft capital on, right? That would be the best situation. But you also have these different scenarios that you got going on. I think Matt Dieter played pretty well last year. I mean, he got hurt in the second game of the season with a foot injury, which messed him up for a while. But then when he came back, if you didn't notice, when he came back, the run got better, right? And so maybe that could be something that's on there too that we're not looking at. And I've been looking at Michael Dieter. He's been starting for a while, and he got hurt this last season, but he hasn't gotten hurt before. He's played like almost every game, even in college and things like that. So he should be durable. Now, moving on, right? We got these things going on, and it will be also another thing that we got to talk about is the run zone scheme that they're going to run. Last year we didn't see them run the zone scheme, so you really have to see if they'll fit that. It really depends up to the coaches and what the athletic ability the offensive line have, because it's not the same system at all. That before it was gap or man that they were blocking. Now they're doing scheme, right? So you have to shift, then you got to block the zone. You don't have to block the man, right? So and see what it is. So maybe they can mix it up, change them around. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see, but it's gonna be something different than it was last year. So all the offensive line that were there last year are gonna have to learn a new way of doing things. Maybe they've done it in college and maybe they did it in high school or things like that. But it would be a new system either way. But these are just the possibilities of some situations or scenarios that could play out. Some things that I like, some players that you could pick up. Because offensive line is a big question mark and it is a big concern for everybody. The coaching, the players, the fans, and we just want to see it get better, man. All right, well, no, that's it. And thank you guys for listening. And go Dolphins.